this summer, like kids and baseball. Today, nestled amongst the Georgia Pines, the best 11U players in the country will showcase their skills. The easternmost in quality takes on the westernmost in talent. The Perfect Game 11U Select Festival is next on CBS Sports Network.
They're not going to score. 0-0.
It's the 11U SelectFest. Let's go. Let's go, baby.
There is so much history at the East Cobb Complex in Marietta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta. It's a steamy day in the Deep South, but it's always a great day for baseball. The youngsters get their turn this weekend at the Perfect Game 11U Select Festival. It is the East versus the West. And welcome to the ballpark. I'm Brett Dolan with 12-year Major League veteran Marlon Anderson. Delighted to have you with us. This is a fun age group, Marlon, but what excites you most about watching these 11-year-olds?
Well, for me, I think it's watching them play on TV live for the first time. You know, I played in the Major Leagues for a long time in front of TV for a lot, but that first time you get in front of the live TV, sometimes you don't play your game. Hopefully the nerves won't be bad. Hopefully I can go out and play their game that they've been doing their whole lives.
We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll start to introduce you to the best 11U baseball players in the country, part of the Perfect Game Select Festival, seen right here on CBS Sports Network.
hear you out there. Let's go. We're getting ready for first pitch here in just a
Time for baseball today from the East Cobb Complex in Marietta, Georgia, the 11U Perfect Game Select Festival. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for the visitors, the East team. Of course, this is a very busy starting lineup. We're going to bat everybody. We're going to see a pitcher an inning over these 7 games. Nash, Derry, Lawrence, and Huffstetler, the first 4 in the starting lineup for the East squad. They're going to be facing Quinn Neal, left-hander. Marlon, he's been out there warming up for quite some time. He's anxious to get his chance to pitch.
Yeah, I think the whole team's out there. They're a little excited. They're ready to get on the field and, you know, do what they came here to do. They love the game of baseball. They love playing it more than sitting around watching, and I think this is what everybody's been waiting for.
Young man from Katy, Texas, part of the Banditos. And these players arrived yesterday. They went through batting practice, had a bit of a home run derby. They finished that today. Extensive infields. Finally ready for baseball. Brett Dolan, Marlon Anderson.
I can't hear you, sports
What's the
fans.
anticipation, the excitement level like for these kids having to wait to finally get their chance to be on TV and play in this game?
Well, again, the first thing they got to do is let the nerves get out and just settle down and play this game that they've been playing their whole life. That's what everybody's here, first time in front of the camera like this, but they love the game of baseball and they're excited for it.
Carter Nash is going to lead off, and we are underway. South Carolina native, goes by the nickname of Big 12. That pitch way high, and 2 balls, no strikes to Carter Nash.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's some big 11-year-olds out there. You know, watching them last night, getting to meet some of them and talk to them. You know, these guys they're not your typical 11-year-old that you see running around sometimes.
I think that's the fun part. You're going to see guys today, some skill sets just look a little bit different than maybe 11 years old.
And I think sometimes you can underestimate how good an 11-year-old baseball player can be. You know, I remember about playing at that age, and, you know, some of our top players were definitely good.
Pitch a little bit down from Quinn Neal. 3 balls and a strike. Neal again, the Texan. Part of the 11U Futures Tournament. Got to stay for the USA Baseball Trials.
Truly one of the most exciting things is that these are the top 28 11-year-olds in the country. I think that says a lot, you know, and I think, you know, sitting here watching the home run derby, you really take it in and see how good these kids really are.
See if Carter Nash could take a big rip. He does, and the count's gone full. Tell me there weren't times when you were watching the home run derby when you thought, that young man doesn't look like he's 11 years old.
Well, they were hitting them near the light towers today. I'll tell you what, it's pretty exciting to watch, and they had a great time with it.
And the payoff pitch. Hit in the air, deep center field, and it clears the trees. How about a leadoff home run? A majestic shot from Carter Nash. What a way to begin the 11U Perfect Game Select Festival.
Big 12, they call him. I guess he's excited, ready to get it started. Got to a full count, but was able to take care of a pitch that was right down the middle for him and drive it way out to center field.
Tipped it in center. Did not even move. And you could see him go out and get it, Marlon.
You can. He really great job of letting the ball get deep and using his hands and getting through it, hitting it back up the middle and not trying to do too much with it. That's what you want these kids to do, is learn to play the game and learn to be patient and do the right things at the plate.
And this is Cannon Derry, who last night at the banquet was named as the 11U Offensive Player of the Year. Now he's a Tennessee native, plays for the East Cobb Astros, so this is a bit of a home game for Derry.
I tell you what, you know, he's the Offensive Player of the Year. He's 5'2". He's one of the smallest guys on the team, but, you know, again, it says a lot about how good he's done and how well he's played this summer.
He had one PG tournament this year, Marlon, where he had 4 home runs and 16 runs batted in. That's why he's the player of the year. How about Quinn Neal, though, handling that strange comebacker for the out?
You got to be able to feel your position here. Did a great job of just staying there. He finished well. He was positioned to be able to make that catch. You know, a lot of guys kind of throw the ball and fall all over the mound and not able to feel their position, but he did a great job right there of just being balanced.
That replay is a great exhibit of how tough that catch was. This is Trey Lawrence. Hits a line drive to short. That's only 2 outs, guys. Maxwell was ready to go to the dugout, but Trey Lawrence, young man from South Carolina, retired. He thought that catch by Quinn Neal was so good it counted for 2 outs.
I think they're excited. Everybody wants to get to the plate right now, so they're trying to get in so they can grab a bat.
This is Graham Huffstetler. They call him the Graham Slam. And by the way, just take a look at his shoes in the batter's box. This is a big young man. How about size 16 shoes?
Again, these are some of the top guys. I stood next to a couple of them, and to say the least, I was at their shoulders on a few of those guys. But again, these are the best guys in the country. It's fun to be able to come out here and watch them, and for the country to get to see them for the first time.
5'11", 160. At 11 years old, you wonder how much more there is as part of that frame. And you can see Quinn Neal trying to keep that slow breaking pitch away from Huffstetler.
Look like a small Richie Sexton from back in the day.
Not a bad comp. I like it. Three 3-0 the count. Why not swing away if you get a chance? In this select festival or an all-star game, be ready to hack. Huffstetler, part of the SBA Nationals. Also part of a team that won the PG World Series with that squad. He was named the MVP, and he'll take a walk to continue this first inning.
What's great is, you know, listening to some of the guys talk last night and seeing them on tape and watching how they go around. It's just the confidence at 11 years old to be able to go out there and play baseball on a stage like this. You know, these guys are getting a lot of experience early, and I think it's paying off as they move and get older throughout baseball.
Speaking about long, how about the hair for Tyson Brown? They call him 2.5 Live, but hair down his back. I wanted to know today how long it's been since he's had it trimmed up. He said 6 years, and there's no intent to cut it anytime soon.
He is a Duval County kid, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Tell you what, you better put his uniform number on his sleeve because you have no chance to pick it up on the back of that jersey.
Again, it goes with the confidence of, you know, how baseball's changed and how the game has changed, and you've been able to express yourself the way that you would like to, no matter what that is.
We ask these young men a lot of questions about who inspires them as that ball is roped foul. I think you get a flavor for their personality. And for a guy like Tyson Brown, the man who inspires him is Hank Aaron.
And that just says a lot about knowing the history of the game and understanding who Hank Aaron was to the game of baseball. And just understanding his power, understanding what he did for his community. And I think it's great to give these kids an opportunity like that.
His impact. Can Quinn Neal make another play? How about that effort?
Nice fielding pitcher. I love it. Love to see.
We saw one big blast, though, to start off this game. Carter, Nash, and no doubter into the Georgia trees, and we're off and rolling from Marietta.
Perfect Game Select Festival on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Perfect Game, the largest and most respected independent scouting service in baseball. By Oakley, be who you are. By G-Form, the most comfortable protective guards in all of baseball. Because the best never settle for less. G-Form, go next level. And by Rawlings, the #1 glove of pro players. Rawlings, the official baseball glove of Major League Baseball.
On the sights and sounds of this select festival, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the West team. The home squad as they bat here in the bottom of the first inning. Trejo, Gill, Maxwell, and Ruiz, the top four. But again, a very busy lineup. We'll see all of these young men bat through this lineup, hopefully on a couple of occasions over this 7-inning game. And the pitcher they're going to face, at least here in this first inning, young man out of New Jersey in Brody Taylor. Now the left-hander, got to tell you what, this kid is a state champion in the state of New Jersey as a wrestler. So there will be no charging the mound today. You got Taylor on the mound, and if you get through him, his manager is Kyle Farnsworth, and there will be no trouble if Farnsworth is in charge.
No. That's the great thing about this. Guys are having a great time, man. I tell you what, he is a big kid out on the mound, too, and slinging him pretty good from the left side. Had a little pop on that going to the catcher.
Julian Trejo is the leadoff hitter, part of MVP Hustle, a Palmdale, California native, a Dodger fan, a Trey Turner fan. It's a pretty unique windup from Taylor as he hits Trejo. Kind of crunches over just a bit.
A little bit, and see if he can keep his balance when he's doing that. Hit his batter, but like I said, early warming up, he looked pretty good doing it. You know, one of the exciting things about this kid's from New Jersey or whatever. These kids are from all over the country. You know, you got California, you got Jersey, you got guys from down south, you got guys from Texas. That's what makes it so fun at this age.
This is Antonio Gill.
Having this unique opportunity to play against kids from all over the country, that's something that I never had an opportunity to do.
Right.
You know, it's changed so much, and I think it's great for baseball. It's great for the kids who.
Great part of what Perfect Game does, bring the best of the best.
Yeah. The kids who can get to the top of that and have this opportunity. I mean, it's only 28 kids here from all over the country. That is so rare, and I think it's great.
Antonio Gill from Mansfield, Texas, a young man who says he's a real good juggler, but he's batting 2-hole today for this West team.
And we talk about the last guy. He was 5'11". You know, now we got a 5'2" guy that's here too that can hit in the 2-hole that can handle the bat a lot. So I mean, the diversity that you have all around this field today, I love it, and it's what baseball's all about.
And that's more than a few wristbands on that right wrist for Brody Taylor.
Everybody has their swag going on, and it's something that I was doing research for this and listening to a couple of the guys talking, and you know, I heard, I guess, having good drip is a good thing.
That's right.
Yeah,
look good, feel good, play good.
Some of their terminologies and some of the words they use and how they explain what they do. I love it. This generation is definitely taking on their own identity.
Kids all geared up well from Perfect Game, off and running. Throw down to second base is not going to get Trejo. Gill did go down on strike, so Brody Taylor able to get the strikeout for the first out. Are you somebody who had good grip back in the day, looking back?
I look back and I don't really feel like I had that kind of thing. The release from the catcher was great. Nobody was at the bag, and he still would have been a little late trying to get him there. Had a good jump off first base.
So 1 on, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Our first look at Amari Maxwell. They call him Prime. Prime put on a show yesterday, part of the home run derby. He's got those batting gloves loose. About that, a bunt towards third, handled by Brown. No chance to get Maxwell. Kind of a sniper attack with the bunt.
I love it. You know, and again, these kids hadn't played together before, but you come out in a game like this, and the East wants to beat the West, and doing anything to help your team get ahead or to get a guy in scoring position. They scored a run. He's playing his game, and I just love to see the teamwork and the team baseball that's being played so far.
Almost looked like a softball player coming out of the box. He was at full speed after 2 steps.
He was. He got some good speed out there, too. Again, with a name like Prime, you better have a little speed behind him.
Good point. Well, hey, Daniel Ruiz is the batter. And I know he's not going to bunt because he won the home run derby before the game today. And Marlon, I lost track of how many balls he hit into the trees. Although here he might have a chance to hit into a double play. How about the job done defensively?
I love it to see double plays at this age. Again, these guys, they take pride in their defense. They take pride in they want to show who they are and have that opportunity to put their stamp on their baseball career starting out early. And I love that about the game. Guys are very relaxed right now.
Throws a fastball. Says he throws a fast cutter and a slow cutter. So 2 variations.
Would that be a slider and a curveball?
I was curious if you might have that thought process. Meanwhile, here's Braden Miller. He's going to lead off for this East team. Part of Fielder's Choice National, a Virginia native. Young man who says he wants to be one of the first Chilean major leaguers. From his background, Hockett from that full windup.
And as you know, you go through the preparation for for these games and all, and listening and watching all these kids are very confident in who they are and what they want to be as people. I think that's the parents do a good job of really instilling that personality into each, and again, wanting to have that personal touch on their baseball game, thinking about being the first Chilean baseball player. Like if I was 10, 11 years, I didn't think like that. I didn't have that kind of concept. But these kids are very well versed in everything that they want to do in life.
I think they're pretty good as far as establishing some goals. And I know they're young, right? But we're going to be seeing these athletes, Marlon, at future select festivals and big-time baseball events for the next several years. That's a great pitch. Foul tipped into the glove of the catcher Miller, down on strikes. Hockett gets the K.
Great pitch again. Like he's a big kid. He stepped out there, and that was the fast cutter, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of took off a little bit late there to the batter, but again, a guy who has pretty good stuff out there.
And this is Big Papi. Big Papi wants a new bat. Chance Baisden. Florida native is Chance. Pitch floated in a little bit high. Our plate umpire Jeff Sharamedia here this afternoon.
Big Poppy, I love it.
Won the home run derby at the Perfect Game World Series in 2021. He roped that one. Fouled off the dugout. A year ago, hit almost a 300-foot home run to tie the game in the bottom of the 6th inning in the semifinal, and the team eventually advanced to the championship. You got to believe, Marlon, these power hitters, they're thinking about whether they can do some damage in a select festival.
Oh, absolutely. You know, everybody wants to hit the home run. I think trying to win the game and have an opportunity to hit, you know, I'll express that to all the kids. You know, home runs come from being a good hitter. That you don't try to hit home runs. And, you know, these guys, again, they're making good contact. You can watch them in batting practice. Balls are going out of the ballpark because they're strong and you got good balls, but they really are pretty good hitters and swinging.
I think he understands that concept. A big Jose Altuve fan. He says he sleeps with his Jose Altuve bat every night, but he's down on strikes, and Cameron Hockett has come out and K'd the first 2 batters he has faced.
That's that cutter slider pitch that kind of broke down and away from the big righty. Couldn't reach it. And again, late breaking, so at this age, it's probably something they hadn't seen a lot of.
Colton Pettinato, next man in, batting with the bases empty and 2 outs in the 2nd.
I like Hockett. He's pretty confident out there, getting that ball, getting back on top of the mound, and let's go make it happen.
During batting practice day, though, Pettinato nearly took out our Cameron straightaway center. We had a couple of guys up there on the lift, and he hit one right by their shoulders into the trees, and I thought, oh no, he's going to take out 2 of our crew in one swing in BP. And he sends one down the line and left and on the carpet. This is going to go to the warning track. And Pettinato has a double.
Now batting, number 7.
That's a nice swing.
Brody
Let the ball go out
Taylor.
there. He didn't get out front of it too much. He was on time there. Again, these guys have a lot of lessons, and you can see that they're paying off. He was able to sit back, let the ball get there, and literally like dropped his head on it and took it to left field for that double. These kids are the elite of their class, and you know they really have a chance of putting on a show.
Brody Taylor hits one foul wide of first base. Already seen Taylor on the mound. Now we'll see this New Jersey native in the box. I think there's a little bit of a Bryce Harper swing to Brody Taylor to me. I mean, he's up there trying to take a violent swing and do some damage.
He twists that top hand around, and he's looking to do damage for sure.
Plays for the MA Show and the Jersey Storm. No batting gloves for Brody Taylor.
Nice swing.
Looks like it's going to find its way to play.
That no batting gloves is a patented early Bryce Harper thing as well. I think when he's coming up, he didn't wear a lot of batting gloves. Fortunate enough to be able to have him his first year in pro ball. Had Bryce Harper when he was in Hagerstown.
Is that right?
Yeah. Quite an experience.
I like that phrase, that term, experience.
Great kid. I think, again, he had some unique tools that he was able to take advantage of.
Tell me that didn't look a little bit like Bryce. I mean, he was opening up and trying to launch and hit one foul into the fans down the line and right.
Great timing by him, though. Again, he was able to pull that ball, but he didn't pull off of it. He actually stayed back, let the ball got there, and just turned on it and dropped the hands on it. So, again, these guys get a lot of lessons, and they learn a lot of things early in their baseball career.
Hockett trying to finish off a scoreless inning. Fun battle here. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Brody Taylor. Carter Nash's home run leading off the game is the lone tally so far in this 11U Perfect Game Select Festival. From East Cobb, the complex in Marietta. Good pitch, wave and a miss.
Great cutter again. That slider down and in to the lefty, throwing it right underneath his bat.
Hockett with 3 strikeouts. The Eye Black had some magic powers today. 1-0 East.
Tonight at 8 Eastern, CBS Sports Network serves up some fun in the sun with Major League Pickleball. Watch as teams battle it out Newport Beach for a chance to be crowned champs and take home a cash prize of $100,000. Catch all the action here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. New pitcher. We'll see a pitcher an inning as this game moves into the bottom of the second. Nathan Hanley White, they call him Nate Diesel. Right-hander out of Bradenton, Florida. Part of Prime Baseball. Seen some pretty good arms already, Mark.
We have. Hockett had a great late movement on his fastball. I mean, it just shows at this age, probably not going to throw a lot of curveballs or whatever, but the movement that he has on his cutter that's late down and in the lefties and away to righties really kind of commanded that inning last inning.
See what Hanley White can do. Aidan Cervantes will lead off here in the bottom of the second inning. This is Landon Atkinson. They call him Sugar.
Did ask him last night what was Sugar for. He was like, well, it's going to take me a little while to be able to tell you that story. It's not a short story, so I still haven't gotten it. Maybe after the game I'll give you a pull him to the side and maybe see what that Sugar is all about.
Pflugerville, Texas. He is one of two Pflugerville natives in this game. You're talking about two players from the same community, part of the best 28 11U players.
That's impressive.
Pitches up and out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Part of Elite RBI is Atkinson. Has a father, Blake, that played in the Kansas City Royals organization, and Landon almost lost his helmet on that big swing. I mean, that almost popped right off his head. Wide open stance. The pitch runs down and outside. One thing I think you find out about these young kids, we like to know who their favorite teams are and their favorite players. Rarely do they match. And for Atkinson, he's a Blue Jay fan, but a Yadi Molina fan. Big swing, and this one will stay in play. And it will, but no catch by Arant.
That's something I noticed too. And again, I think that's the new generation. Usually, you grow up somewhere, you have a favorite team. Like you're going to pick a player from that team that you're going to say is your favorite because usually you're watching them all the time. I think now they can watch every player every night, whatever team they want to watch, and I think it makes a big difference.
Soft chopper to third on the carpet. Throw's going to be in time to retire Atkinson to begin the second inning.
There was a lot of Shohei Ohtani likes as favorite player, from the hitting side and from the pitching.
You better believe it.
I think being versatile like that, guys, he has opened the door for kids to be able to dream about being able to do that in the major leagues.
Andrew Arant able to make that play and the throw to first base. Help out Hanley White. And this is Cervantes from Corona, California. Part of MVP Hustle.
In an all-star game like this, you got some good arms out there. You can get to where the pitching will dominate the action. These guys have some good arms. The ball's coming out of their hands pretty good and with good movement.
Up the middle and into center field for a base hit. So Cervantes has the second hit for the West team. One out single here in the second inning.
Right on cue when you figure it all out. Somebody swings the bat and drives the ball right up the middle, right?
Going to take you right on into those dugouts today on this steamy day here in Hotlanta, just outside of Atlanta and Marietta. Now we're going to get to see the young man they call Monster. Caleb Monster Klein from Leander, Texas. That's a cousin that plays Double-A baseball in the Marlins organization, Pensacola. Somebody to look up to. Another one socked into center. Back-to-back singles. Retrieved by Cannondari and played it back in. And West team in business trying to get on the board for the first time here in the bottom of the second inning.
And again, Ball got there. It was up a little bit. He was able to drive it up the middle, but it's making the adjustment. When you see pitchers start to dominate, one of the things that as a hitter you have to do is make sure that you stay up the middle with the ball, not trying to pull off. And I haven't seen a lot of guys taking swings where they're trying to do too much or pull off. They're staying through the ball, which is, again, it comes from getting your lessons early and really sticking to your plan.
Brings up Quinn Neal. We've seen him on the mound already, the Katy, Texas native. Now he's an Astros fan, but he's a Barry Bonds fan. He says Barry is the home run king. He's too young to remember Barry, isn't he?
Well, today a lot of video around, so
that's true.
If you're a young power hitting lefty, he's not a bad guy to look at and kind of emulate on the field.
It's a good one. Sands batting gloves for Quinn Neal. First batter of the game, that was Carter Nash at a home run. Nothing so far in the scoreboard since, as these pitchers early in the game have been able to set the tone. But Nathan Hanley White, after getting a ground out to third to begin this second inning, has given up back-to-back hits to Cervantes and Klein. And Quinn Neal waiting on a 2-1 pitch. Got a pitch to hit, fouled it back.
It did. Tried to do a little too much with that pitch. First time I've seen it all day where a guy overswung a little bit, and I think he was in a good count and felt comfortable and tried to take advantage of it.
Quinn Neal, part of the Banditos. Waves and misses at a high one, a throw to third. It's not in time to get Cervantes a double steal on the strikeout. Now 2 gone.
In a game like this, you don't get a lot of breaks. You know, they're putting the lineup together, but everybody that's here, they can hit and they can pitch and they can do everything. So every inning, it's the same no matter what part of the lineup you're in. You're going to get a good at bat and a good approach from these guys.
Talking about batting 14, here's Louis Lappy. These players are identified by their performances in some perfect game events. And obviously at 11 years old, you haven't had a lot over the course of your career to this point, but you will. But Lappy was a guy that in the big NIT event in Houston earlier this year had 2 homers in 1 inning. That will get everybody's attention. Socked out to center, hit well, and it's going to go to the fence. It's going to chase home 2, and Louis Lappy has put the West team in front with a double, and he barely held on at second base.
Yes, he did. Again, you see a lot of balls that are being hit hard today, up the middle. And that's just a testament of the lessons and listening to your coach and standing in your approach, not trying to do too much. Got a little bit of a leg kick, kind of threw those hands quick through the middle, and the center fielder was played over to the right center gap, which allowed that ball to go to the fence and got a double in it and drove in a couple runs.
Cameron Hockett, he had a 3-strikeout inning on the mound. Now he will bat. Still got that eye black work, and a young man from Spokane, Washington. We've had several people traveling for a long time from the West Coast down to Atlanta to be part of this event.
We look back at that, you know, the double steal, you know, putting 2 guys in scoring position there. You know, that's the guys at first base. He may not score that run there from first base on that base hit to center field.
And you're seeing a game of baseball where you're still trying to play it the right way, even though this is a select festival, an all-star game of sorts. Because last night at the banquet, I think both of these teams made it known they really wanted to win.
Well, that's what I love. No matter what age, when you're competitive like this and you're playing top-level baseball, it brings out the best in you, but brings out your belief in yourself.
You may have missed a few of the ping pong games this morning. Those were bringing out the intensity. Got a player lounge, and of course they're all geared up here for a few days. This is the culmination of this 11U event. Wave and a miss by Hockett. That will end the inning. But the West team on the board scored 2 on the double from Louis Lappy. Off and rolling today in Marietta.
batting number 99.
Would that be a knuckle curve of some sort, a hard-breaking pitch?
The spike ball? I mean, I haven't heard of that one in baseball. The drop ball back in the day, you used to call this for the drop ball, which is the big 12-6 curveball, I guess. But
and Andrew Arant is going to lead off. Shorter trip for him, a Georgia native. Plays for home plate Grayback. Former Craig Grayback. His son's part of that organization. Pitch right on that outside corner, and he gets the wave of the miss.
He falls off the mound a little bit and kind of slings it, and it's kind of hard to pick up, I think. That wasn't an aggressive swing there, but it was definitely was a ball in the zone.
See if he hits that outside corner again. My goodness, that's close. That's a good two-strike pitch. Daniel Ruiz, the catcher, shifted late. He'll try it again and gets the swing and a miss. Maxwell kept hitting his spot, and he gets the strikeout to begin the third inning.
That's really tough, the way he's fallen off the mound, stepping over toward the first base side, and then he kind of slings it around, but that ball has true action coming back to the plate and actually going back to that outside corner. Kind of hard to pick up for the guys.
Next in is Easton Housewright from Tennessee.
And this is what's so great about it. It worked for the right-handed hitter, but now you got the lefty. If you're falling off, it's not the same. So
came in there, and that one hit foul wide at first.
You also watch and see if pitchers have the opportunity or the ability to be able to pitch to both sides of the plate. You know, you got the righty, you fall off and you hit that outside part of the plate, but now you go back out to the outside part of the plate to a left-handed hitter, which is showing control and that ability to be able to do that.
There's a lot of advanced pitchers that can't do that.
True.
Housewright goes by Houseboat, and the Houseboat has a single into right. The member of the East Cobb Astros. Bit of a home game again for Easton, and he gets the single with one out here in the third inning.
And again, that ball sinking back to the down and in to that lefty, which is kind of the wheelhouse where you kind of like it. Didn't hit it for a lot of power, but was able to get the barrel to it and drive it through the four-hole.
Didn't shift against him, so he gets the base hit.
That's starting a whole nother conversation about
Understood.
that.
I won't even get into that. I will wait for another day.
No, I love it. I love it.
This is Gabriel Torres, Florida native. They call him the Menderia, Spanish for sledgehammer. When you got a nickname as the Sledgehammer, I got a feeling he can swing it pretty good.
At 5'1", 116, sledgehammer. I love it. I love it.
The pitch just floated in from Maxwell.
That was the pitch. What did he call it? The
spike?
The spike. I think that was a little bit of the spike pitch.
This thing stopped in midair right here.
Just took, yeah.
Torres is going to go home and say, you won't believe the pitch I saw in the 11U Select Festival. That's not fair.
Really quick feet out there, right there. If you look, he almost picked him off at first base.
Joey Essery, our first base umpire, says safe. See the move? Quick feet.
Quick feet.
Oh, with that spotting and dotting over there at first. Hit well to right, high up off the fence from the sledgehammer. And he's got himself a double. How about the opposite field juice?
That is a true sledgehammer there. Dropping the hands on the pitch that's down and away from you, making the adjustment. That's what I love. Again, you can tell they're paying attention to the game. You watch the hitter, first hitter of the inning that struck out on all those fastballs that have fallen away. And the sledgehammer was able to keep its hands down, through it, use it. Ball was up a little bit more that time, which happens when you get guys on base. Prime was not able to keep the ball down like he did to the first hitter of the inning, having the guy on first base there.
Got the oven mitt all secured, and I think the sledgehammer ready to run the bases. So the East Team down by a run. Have a couple of runners in scoring position. For Nathan Hanley White, Nate Diesel.
That ball was off the wall there from the sledgehammer. And a little opposite field kind of pop right there. Yeah.
By the way, who says nicknames are a thing of the past? This group's loaded with nicknames.
There's only a couple that didn't have it. That's one of the things I wrote them down. It's like I want to call them by their nickname. When their friends are listening to the game, I want them to know that they got their nicknames on the air today.
Good pick behind the plate. Thinking about a guy like Nathan Hanley White, we think, you know, these kids, Marlon, haven't had a lot of adversity, but try this one on for size. Last year had a fall, dislocated his left elbow, fractured it, tore both ligaments, had to undertake an extensive physical rehab, but able to recover. And, I mean, what a challenge early in a baseball career.
Anytime anything happens.
Ground ball to first. It's going to produce a run, though, to tie up this game at 2 apiece.
Anytime anything happens to your body as a baseball player or an athlete in general, you don't know how you're going to react coming back from it. And being able to, you know, see that fastball here. There's a check swing, but again, get guys in scoring position, third base. One of the biggest things you have to be able to do as a baseball player is make contact. And he did a great job of doing that. Didn't look good, not going to feel great about it, but he helped his team to tie the game up here.
That was the big daddy, Brett Rager, making the play at first. Lucas Borges steps in. He was one of our top 3 fundraisers. These young men reached out to their family and friends trying to generate some money for PG Cares, the foundation arm, and he raised almost $3,500.
That's huge for a kid at that age, and huge for anybody. I tell you, in wanting to go out there and fight and try to help this organization be able to help other kids in their, you know, in their baseball aspirations. So for me, that's one of the great things about what Perfect Game does, is always trying to help kids to identify their communities and give back to their communities and help out and want to be a part of that kind of thing.
Completely agree. That one is a soft liner to second base. It's caught by Cervantes to end the inning. We've got a game. How about a 2-2 contest through 2.5 innings?
Batting for the West, number 5, Jimmy Tipton III.
Mom was a soccer player. Dad was a baseball player. You can tell Mom and Dad at these events, right? They've got the phones rolling, recording everything.
Always. you gotta make sure you get the video. Again, this is such a unique opportunity for these 11-year-olds to come here and to play like this. And you got kids all around on all these different fields that when they're finished with their games, they're coming over and watching and trying to see what it is that's going on over here. So, you know, it's just a great opportunity for everybody that's here this weekend.
This is Jimmy Tipton III. They called him Baby J from Corpus Christi. And yesterday, Marlon, after I watched batting practice, all I wrote down next to his name was exit velo exclamation mark, because when he squares it up, it's special. Big swing and a miss, down 0-2.
You know, one of the things with, you know, all of these kids that are here, whether they're hitting or pitching, when you strike out or you give up a run or something, that's not normal for them. They're the best on their teams every time they go out and play during the season, and it's just not normal for them to give up runs or strike out in situations like this.
It's part of the fun of a game like this, tested unlike maybe any other occasion in their young baseball career. Good game so far, tied at 2, and that's grounded foul down the line at third base.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that, you know, last night at the banquet, when, you know, had a little something to say to him, you know, you learn so much through failure. You know, when you play against the best guys that are equal to you, and you fail and you go through things, that's what you actually fight through to help make you a better player.
Big chopper to short, handled by Housewright.
Baseball is truly about adjustments that you make throughout whenever you're playing, but that's life as well. You know, you got to make adjustments in everything that you do, every situation. You know, you're gonna make some good decisions. You're gonna, you know, make some bad ones. You're gonna learn from all of them, hopefully, and help you become a better person in the middle of it all.
That's the well-populated stands here at East Cobb. Those bleachers have seen a few games or two, haven't they? With all the parents and all the people that have played here. And this should be Cash Erickson, who, by the way, was the leading fundraiser. Cash able to contribute the most cash. He raised almost $5,300 for the young man from the Woodlands just north of the Houston area. For an 11-year-old to raise that much money for charity?
Yeah, I don't know how much time they had. It doesn't matter to me. The fact that they're out there scrambling, and, you know, I'm sure, hope the parents had them partake in doing a lot of that legwork.
Cash has the new shoes. You can see him there, the new equipment for Perfect Game. Normally he likes to wear 2 different color shoes so his grandfather can always identify, but he's got the good gear today, so we'll have to figure it out. And there's a sharp ground ball to short. Been a couple of chances for Housewright. Back-to-back plays. You never know when you're going to get your turn on the infield or get a chance, and he's had back-to-back opportunities.
Well, but just these kids are so fundamentally sound, and again, it's a reason they're the best of the 11-year-olds in this country. For me, I think that's telling, you know, being able to watch. This is high-level baseball at a young age, and I think it's just great for the kids to be able to partake in it. But, you know, even to me, being able to come out and watch this and see them, it's a treat, because you see good baseball on days like this when you got the best in the country out here playing.
This is the Big Daddy. Brett Rager hit 11 home runs today, leading off a home run derby, and I think there were a couple of occasions where he went 3 or 4 straight.
I think it was twice. He went 3 in a row. He missed one and then went 3 in a row again. So a lot of pop out here on this field.
That one's up there a long time. It's going to drop fair and then take a right turn. And Rager is going to keep on cruising to second base. The throw hit him. He will stop. He's going to get himself a bloop double. That's a big-time, big-league pop-up.
It was. And the first baseman, I think he did. The first baseman went out, and sometimes as a first baseman, you want to stay out of the second baseman in the right fielder's way. Sometimes you're going back like that can throw them off a little bit. And, you know, these guys haven't played together very much, probably taking limited ground balls and infield together. That's one of those things. As soon as it goes up, that second baseman's got to call them off early.
Here's Brody Gillespie. Another play for Housewright. He handled all 3 this inning. Takes that soft liner from Brody Gillespie. Ends our frame. Good ball game. Tied at 2 through 3 innings here in Marietta. This is the 11U Perfect Game Select Festival. The best 28 11-year-olds in the country. Brett Dolan, Marlon Anderson, and that is Carter Nash, ready to bat here in the 4th inning. He started this contest about 45 minutes ago. Marlon, one big swing deep into the trees.
When the guy stays through the ball and hits the center field like that, and it's way up and out of the ballpark, you know he did everything right in his swing right there. Again, wasn't in a hurry, just sat back, waited, let the ball got there, and drove it way out the center field.
That was our home run of the game, brought to you by Rawlings. Check out the Rawlings home run of the contest. Rawlings, the #1 baseball brand. As Jimmy Tipton, the 3rd, Baby J, gets ready to pitch here in the 4th inning. Back to the top of the lineup in Carter Nash.
Carter has some confidence out there, really knows what he wants to do. He controls his body really well. You can tell he's played a lot of baseball early in his life here.
There's a good look at Tipton. Get a young man from Corpus Christi, Texas. He loves to play the trombone. In fact, he wants to be a football player. And then in Texas, the half times are so long. In uniform, you go out there, you play in the band, then you go back and play. That's what he wants to do in the fall.
That's a lot of work, but again, ambitious on his part, and again, you don't take anything away from these guys that have a multi-talented in a lot of different ways. So.
Oh, I like that. Want to keep that going. Carter Nash, though, he's already playing with the house's money, so to speak, with a leadoff home run. And Marlon, what a well-played game to this point.
It is fundamentally sound. You know, that's the great part of, again, these are the elite on their teams everywhere. But when you don't play together sometimes with guys, you get out there, you get a little nervous. But these guys are really taking advantage of everything they're doing right now and playing good baseball, having fun with it.
Chop it to short. Nash retired. He was racing up the line.
Got in the 3-1 count there. He got a little anxious. I think that ball may have been a little bit down, maybe out of the zone. Not one that he could drive. But again, he earned that 3-1 count, tried to take advantage of it. But pitcher made a great pitch on, was able to get him a ground out.
Lashby, he's got the sunglasses on and the eye black, able to make the play. Brings up Cannon Derry. All he did earlier this year in one perfect game tournament was hit 4 home runs. That's why, in par, he is the 11U Offensive Player of the Year. Goes by KD. And there's only one KD.
And I love it because he's not the biggest kid in this tournament. He is probably the smallest, one of the smaller ones. But he's got quick hands. He's really fundamentally sound. Really looks good in the uniform out there, just looking to take advantage of whatever's given to him.
Love to play at Clemson someday. Pretty good pitch by Tipton that misses. Everybody hanging out on a warm day here in Marietta.
I'm really big at watching the guy step in the box, and he is confident stepping in the box. He knows where his feet are going to go. He knows what he wants to do, and he steps in there and gets it and gets his bat up, ready to go or whatever, and ready to compete. I love that.
I'll tell you what I love about Derry here in a second. And that pitch in there for a called strike. He loves getting on YouTube and watching highlights of Ken Griffey Jr. And again, as a left-handed hitter, that's one of the great ones to go back and soak up something.
Well, they have an opportunity to have all that technology at their hands, and they take advantage of it. And again, when you want to specialize in something, you want to do something, you want to be the best at it, it's nothing like going and watching guys who have already done it and been the best at it, and they take that time. It takes time to become a good player, whether it's practicing on the field, watching video, kind of getting tips from different people. It takes a lot to be an elite baseball player these days.
How about Preston Wilson hanging out? Preston managing the West team. And that's strike 3. Derry thought maybe he had the walk instead down on strikes. And Preston, he's got the lineup card out. He's got the multicolored pen. He's working overtime.
He is. He loves the game, man. Known Preston for a long time. It's great to be able to see him out here still involved in baseball and just having fun, trying to give back to this to the kids out here as a manager.
Brings up Trey Lawrence, who lined to short his only time in, takes a big hack.
Trying to think how far I'm in Preston. I think 97. I think we played in the fall league together in 97.
You guys played a lot of games against each other in the old National League East.
Yes.
Lawrence flies one out to right center field. This ball is going to be caught. How about the quick inning from Tipton? 1, 2, 3 and done. Head to the bottom of the 4th inning, still remain tied at 2, the East and the West.
He came in the top of that inning. Let's go.
Today's game break is brought to you by PG Tech. Turn your showcase results into higher exit velocity. Seen some great young talent here today at the 11U Perfect Game Select Festival. We've seen some eye black. We've seen some big swings. Well, and we've seen, again, I would say, a well-played baseball game.
Absolutely. I think the kids are showing why they're here. You know, you got pitchers that are coming out that are not used to giving up runs, and you got hitters that are not used to striking out or putting outs, and it's a true battle. I mean, got a close game here, and it can come down right to the last out, which is great for a competition like this.
Just saw Derry bat in the top of the 4th. He's ready to pitch here in the bottom of the inning. The West team finally able to turn their lineup over. Batting 14, but back to the top in Julian Trejo from Palmdale, California.
Give it up for number 8, Julian Trejo.
It's a Trey Turner fan.
Well, who isn't these days? That's a great guy to be a fan of, I tell you.
Speed, mix in some pop, too. Had a grandfather that played baseball in the Mexican League. Did Trejo. And no surprise when he identifies his scouting report, he starts with speed. See if he might hit one in the hole and get a chance to show it off and run to first.
Absolutely. It's about showing every skill you have in situations like this.
It's fouled back and out of play.
Again, get the 2-0 count, get a fastball up and out over plate, try to make the best of it, man. I tell you, these guys are aggressive and really throwing the hands out there. But one of the things that I've noticed just from watching every hitter is their balance. Balance is very good. I remember being young, that wasn't always a thing that was true in young hitters.
Is that something that is learned, or is it something that the good hitters maybe naturally have a little more of that balance?
I think so much instruction is given these days, and you're going to guys who legitimately know how to hit, and they give instruction, and I think it's just from getting lessons constantly over and over and over again, and playing and watching TV again. You watch Major League hitters when the ball's in the good zone, when the doubles and the home runs are hit. You see every hitter that is definitely balanced or whatever. I think it's just so much information out there, and these kids are soaking it up.
Went out to get that one, line to center, and it's going to kick away from Lawrence. And there's the speed from Trejo as he cruises into second base.
And why is the speed? Ball bounced off of him. He ran past first base and never stopped. The play was in front of him, so he recognized it very early. He just kept going.
Well, then what has impressed me is the ability so far through 4 innings for these hitters to get barreled to baseball, even if you have to reach, even if you have to bring your hands in or maybe extend to make good contact.
And that's where the balance come in. For me, that's the thing that's sticking out to me is how balanced every hitter is in every situation. Even on the strikeouts, it's not out front falling all over the place. It's stand back balance, and you got tricked and fooled on the pitch for the most part.
It makes perfect sense. Antonio Gill from Mansfield, Texas. What's he got in the back pocket? He got a towel there? Like a golfer. Ready to wipe off those hands if need be.
And this is the part of the game here with a close game like this. it comes down to team play. Like, what is he going to do? How is he going to move this runner over? He's trying to hit the ball on the ground to the right side, but is he willing to bunt here, or will Preston put on a bunt in a situation like this?
Hey, Preston better not be bunting. We're going to have to go down there and talk to him.
Well, we'll say this. What if the hitter put the bunt on himself? What if he sacrifices himself for the team? That's all, you know.
Again, these kids want to win. And sometimes I think your fear is in an all-star game, a select festival, maybe one team runs away and it's not quite as competitive. It certainly makes for entertaining dugout chatter and hustle and intensity when these games are close as we have today.
Absolutely. You know, and for me, even if he doesn't bunt, the anticipation of trying to hit the ball to the right side, knowing that's what he's supposed to do in this situation.
Derry really checking Trejo out there at second. And that's the wave of the miss. Good pitch for the strikeout. A big first out to keep Trejo from being able to advance.
And there's actually, you know, if he stays through that pitch, and it was a good pitch on the outside part of the plate to a righty there. That was actually a good pitch that he could hit a ground ball to second base on. He actually did pull off a little bit with his front side and didn't get the job done there.
Well, speaking of bunt, Amari Maxwell had a sniper attack with a bunt base hit back in the first, but Prime now going in this left-on-left battle. He called time and it was just granted by Jeff Sharamedia.
That is a better move by Prime. Takes a little bit, pitcher takes a little bit of time. You feel out of balance. Get that timeout with the umpire, kind of hold him up a little bit, get in his head a little bit.
Maxwell's got a little style as well. He's letting that Velcro on the batting gloves hang loose. And Kyle Farnsworth, he want to make a mound visit. That's a big man right there. Any trouble on the ballpark today, the line forms behind Kyle Farnsworth.
Yes, that's a great thing about when you're playing against him. You know, you get on the mound, and, you know, he was 95 to 97, whatever, on the mound. Intimidating, just, you know.
Intimidated, yes.
Just a big guy out there, whatever. Yeah, I mean, he's strong in every way. I mean, he was physically fit then. He's still physically fit right now. Just a guy I wouldn't want to meet in the back alley to throw punches with.
That is true, and that's a quick visit from Kyle Farnsworth. Came up in the Cubs organization a long time ago. Had a chance to be at the AAA ranks to watch him get close and then make his debut. And out there had a quick word with Derry. Fun lefty-lefty matchup. Maybe a chase.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that mound visit was more about the defense. He's got the second baseman over now because Maxwell evidently a guy with good hands or whatever. You don't want to pull him in that four hole, and you don't want him bouncing around out there messing with the runner at second base. You want the pitcher to be able to go directly.
What a pick at second.
We call that a planned play there. First one, everybody backs off, let them get a little comfortable. Next play, you turn around and you pick and try to get the big out. So.
Some trickeration.
Exactly. It's tie game. Getting late in the game, tie game. Everybody's got to pull out all their tricks.
Might keep Trejo a little bit closer to second base. I got to believe right now with Derry, he hides that baseball, it seems like, pretty well from Maxwell. I'm not sure if it's easy to kind of pick it up quickly out of his hand.
Well, he does a little quick step also. For me, facing lefty-lefty, you actually see the ball a little bit quicker out of the guy's hand because it's on your same side.
Big chopper. Ball kicks away and everybody's safe. Baisden tried to leap up and play that carom off the carpet, but now the West team has runners on the corner.
We want to see that again. I wonder if that ball, even if he catches that ball, does he have the speed to be able to get back and get to first base, or if pitcher's going to beat him over there? It's going to be a tough play either way, but again, bounced off the top of his glove. Good effort. Good effort.
Well, again, it brings up Ruiz, who won the home run derby earlier today.
Well, this is a situation, guy you want up in a situation like this. Worst case scenario, hits a pop up to the outfield to get the sac fly, but he's also a guy that can drive it out of the ballpark and change the numbers on the scoreboard really quickly.
Hit into a double play back in the first. Young man who broke his femur in a trampoline at the age of 5, so setting back a little bit.
so funny. You hear some of those things. I just remember for so much of my life having to be so cautious, you know, no trampolines, no rollerblading, no skiing in the off season, not a lot of basketball, but these guys are young and still got a lot of time ahead of them. So
you can almost see parents saying, don't get hurt on the trampoline, and he would say, who gets hurt on a trampoline? But this was part of the home run derby earlier today, and that was by far the smallest home run because most of them ended up so far in the trees, I'm not sure you could even find them.
Yeah, they don't want to see that swing right now because that would change the game.
To the backstop, a play at the plate, safe. And the West team takes the lead. There's the speed again from Trejo to provide the third run.
What was great about that anticipation, I am a huge base running guy, and for me, the anticipation, that's a close backstop right there. As soon as that ball hit the ground, he was off and running. He was coming down there, and he was not going to be denied at the plate right there.
Look how close that was. What a great shot from our crew. He went to the front of the plate as well, Marlon. And chopper to third. That will be the second out as Ruiz is retired. Maxwell able to advance to third base.
And again, the little things are going to win games around here. The little things are going to, you know, be the difference here. That base running probably would have scored on that play, but again, just to be able to put that pressure on there, get the opportunity where it's high leverage for the pitcher still. It's a great base running job.
Nice play by Torres at third base, and it brings up Atkinson. Sugar, who bounced to third his only time in.
You got to still be careful here. Prime's on third base over there bouncing around. They don't want him to steal a run here by not paying attention. So.
Soft liner. It's going to be caught out at second base. Tracked down by Hanley White. The West team, though, able to jump in front, a 3-2 advantage. On we go to the fifth inning. The 11U Perfect Game Select Festival from East Cobb, Marietta, Georgia. Brett Dolan, 12-year Major League veteran Marlon Anderson enjoying these young athletes and can't wait to see where their baseball journey takes them. Meanwhile, Antonio Gill from Mansfield, Texas, ready to pitch. And I would say the one thing, Marlon, it is fun in these type of formats to see a pitcher in inning.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it just changes the dynamic every inning. You have to learn, you know, from watching him actually warm up, or if you're lucky enough to be second and third, watching the hitter in front of you to be able to get a little research.
Graham Huffstetler, who walked back in the first, will bat for the second time, and this is, again, an imposing figure in that batter's box.
Yeah, he's definitely a big kid. And has a good, solid stance up there, too, looking to do damage.
You could see Gill trying to keep that pitch out of his wheelhouse.
And this is going to be interesting. 2-0 count right here to a big guy like this. Are you going to come back over the middle of the plate and give him an opportunity to drive the ball out of the ballpark?
He's hit 9 homers over his last couple of years in competition. That's a good pitch to keep that away from the heart of the plate.
Game has changed a lot. That was a little off-speed pitch there. Had a little hump in and slowed off a little bit, took a little bit off of it, and able to keep him off balance.
Huffstetler, like so many of these young players, admires Julio Rodriguez. He likes the J-Rod show in Seattle.
I can see why he likes that after watching that home run derby. He's an exciting young man to keep our eye on.
That will be a leadoff walk to begin the 5th inning. So the East team now down a run.
Batting number 21, Tyson Brown.
Trying to do a little damage here in the 5th. Tyson Brown steps in, hit a comebacker in the 1st, and was retired from the Jacksonville area. I would say when Huffstetler dives back in, he hits his chin on the base. He could take a pretty big lead at first at nearly 6 foot tall.
Gill looks a little bit winded out there. I think he's got to kind of find his composure. A lot of those balls missing by a lot, which is probably not normal for him. It just looks a little bit out of sync there.
I did not have him pitching in this game, so it makes me wonder if maybe there was a late change. Regardless, he's working here in the 5th inning with the West team leading 3-2.
And that's where that mental adjustment, again, it was not on the roster to pitch today, but say if they had a scratch or somebody couldn't go and he's stepping up and picking it up, but getting in that mode of pitching.
Huffstetler's going to run. That's about 6 strides, and he's down to second base. Close play, though, but he gets the base.
Nice jump there. Able to take advantage.
This is Ruiz behind the plate. There's the jump. This throw, though, made up a little bit of ground.
It did. He had a great jump and getting those long legs, got down there quick.
Tyson Brown, good look at him. His favorite player hasn't been in the big leagues long. How about O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates? That's another good one.
It is the young players in the big leagues right now, and all their unique skills that they have, and the size and the different things that again you haven't seen a lot in baseball. It's what makes it fun to watch.
A couple of walks though from Gill here in the 5th inning. All of a sudden this East team down a run, looking maybe to put up a big inning. Had only 1 2-run frame so far when the West squad scored 2 in the 2nd. This is Braden Miller. Rips one to the gap in right center and on the carpet. That thing is going to roll for a long time. It's going to score a run to tie the game, and runners at 2nd and 3rd, and the double from Miller.
And that's the thing that's tough. Gill came out. Those first 2 guys getting on base through walks, and then you had a guy who you're trying to throw a strike. He's aggressive on a ball that's up and out over the zone and able to shoot it past the right fielder to the right center field gap. So again, you want to throw strikes, you want to be able, but some of these guys are being able to take advantage of those pitches that are up and out over the zone.
A tie game at 3. Big Papi, who struck out in the 2nd, hits again. Chance Baston. It's 265 to the fence, so a ball can roll for a long time, giving these runners a chance to go home to the plate, 1st to 3rd, whatever the case may be.
This is Big Papi, right?
Oh, he's got the 34 jersey, got the 34 necklace.
The comment will be like, that's his drip, right?
That's well coordinated.
I learned a lot from doing my studying about these guys. They're using their language today.
Tell you what, though, when you're the Big Papi, you've got to wear 34. And when you're the Big Papi, you've got to have that necklace that says 34. Now, he's right-handed.
If you give yourself the Big Papi at this age, you better be able to swing the bat. That's a name that you cannot deny.
Saw flare down the line and right. Will this drop? Yes, it will. It'll chase home a run. 4 straight have reached to begin to get him. Tyson Brown comes across, and the East team back in front. It's 4-3.
In the situation, again, we get guys on base, you just want to make contact, and that ball actually got in on him a little bit, but again, he kept his hands inside of the ball, didn't try to do too much, didn't try to pull off on it, and was able to drop it into right field for a base hit.
This is Pettinato. Take that one just a little bit up in the zone. Colton doubled back in the 2nd inning.
This is a dangerous time right now. They can score 2 runs here without getting a base hit by just hitting the ball to the ground on the right side.
It's a good pitch for a strike.
But we do know that they're not trying to hit the ball on the ground to the right side. They're trying to get the barrel to it and drive it somewhere to be the big guy today.
Pettinato would love to play at Vanderbilt, maybe Florida. Another good pitch from Gill.
That's another thing that's changed over the years. You know, again, at 11, my thought was I wanted to be a major leaguer, but as far as where I was going to go for college or what I was going to do, I had no idea. No idea. I wanted to play baseball in the summer.
I think all options are available. That one is just tattooed to the gap in left center field. It's going to chase home 2 runs. Big Poppy's going to score. And Pettinato, how about his game so far, Marlon? He's had a couple of doubles, and the last one plated 2.
And again, like, you get a guy who's out there, he's in trouble, he's walking guys around. Once he starts to get the ball over the plate, these guys just dropping the head on it. And if you see all of the base hits, balls are up. You know, I tell people, you watch Sports Center at night or watch highlights of Major League games, it's the pitches that are up and out over the plate that get hammered. And, you know, pitches this in and they've been up and out over the plate, and the guys have been able to take advantage of it.
No, I think it's good advice. You hear young kids say sometimes, I can't hit the slider, and I will say, son, you don't hit the good sliders, you hit the bad ones.
You know, again, the best way to hit a good slider is to hit the fastball before you get to it. So. That's what I was
number
taught.
7, Brody Taylor.
Quick mound visit for Gill. Preston Wilson got that bow-legged strut back to his Yeti cooler.
Yes, he does. He's trying to slow it down and give the pitcher a little time to warm up out there, you know.
This is Brody Taylor, and again, this young man's the one I think, you know, you hate to say he's a Bryce Harper kid, but he's got a little bit of that swing. He's trying to hit one off that foul pole in right field. I think we've just about got another pitcher ready if needed.
And again, it's hard. These guys usually, when they're pitching in their normal season, they're not getting hit around a lot, so it's a lot of pressure once you give those 2 walks and you got to throw the ball over the plate, and you got, again, the top 28 guys in the country at your age group that are out here competing against you. You just can't make mistakes.
That's a good point. I think at times there's a renewed dugout for the East. You're in a competition, you might be able to work around a couple of hitters and get towards different portions of the lineup. With a 14-player lineup, there are really no weak spots.
There are no holes in neither one of these lineups. Again, and it's fun. I think it's fun for the fans. I think it's great for people watching, and I think it keeps it to where, you know, as long as they keep it close here, 3 runs, the other side's going to have an opportunity sooner or later to be able to come back and do something the same way.
And there really aren't pitchers only at this level. I mean, everybody plays every position. In fact, Pettinato, who stands out there at second base, when asked about his position, he said, I'm a pitcher, a catcher, a middle infielder, and an outfielder. There's nothing else.
Well, you're going to be the best player
West, Aidan Cervantes.
Here's our player spotlight, brought to you by Oakley. Check out our Oakley spotlight. Be who you are. A couple of doubles for Colton Pettinato, including a 2 RBI 2-base hit this frame. California native Cervantes. Ball's picked nicely off the carpet.
He was aggressive out at second base there. He got the 2 doubles already. He was aggressive. They didn't hold him close at second base, and he was able to get off and get a good jump, get to third base without even a throw.
He did. Daniel Ruiz behind the plate, now dealing with Pettinato, who's at third base.
You know, and that's huge for his team. They got up by 3 runs right now. Again, you're playing against good guys. They're going to have a chance to come back. They can now have an opportunity to get a run without even having to get a base hit.
Ball 4.
Now batting, number 5, Easton Housewright.
Andrew Arant able to draw the free pass. His second plate appearance brings up Easton Housewright. We saw him make a handful of plays at short in 1 inning, but he singled and scored and is only at bat way back in the 3rd. It's hard when you bat in the 3rd to get up again in the 5th inning when you're batting 14 guys.
It is. You know, again, getting on and, you know, playing with guys that are used to being on base, and the walks will kill you though. That, you know, you got to say they've had a lot of walks that have gone their way, and getting guys on base. And
yeah, they're going to throw through. Here comes Pettinato to the plate. Slides in under the tag with run number 7. Got the delayed double steal.
It was a good exchange by Prime there. He got the ball, but he's got to make up the ground and come toward home plate if he's going to have an opportunity to get that out at home plate. He ran at 30, he waited, and got a decent jump there. Not a perfect jump, but good enough to be able to score that run.
Almost crossed his legs there at one point, but was able to recover.
Yes, that's one of the things that, again, I love base running. And, you know, it's one of the things I prided myself on. And, you know, again, not wanting to cross your legs as you're doing anything in baseball and doing anything athletic. He was able to get away with it, but again, like, just one of those things you want to try to stay away from as a base runner.
Well, if you're Pettinato, though, you're saying, hey, listen, I'm 2 for 2, couple of doubles. I've knocked in 2 runs. I've had 2 stolen bases, including a steal of home. He's racking up some MVP points early.
Yeah, no, it's good. And again, the aggressiveness is great. You know, you want these guys to be aggressive, and everybody wants to score the big run. But if you watch him here at third base, he's shuffle, and then the one leg goes across. You never want to cross in front and turn, because then you have to kind of get your momentum going again. Everything's about shuffling, keeping your feet together, never crossing until you get ready to make that initial move.
Us old men would have a hard time if we crossed our legs. We couldn't get it started again, the engines.
Absolutely not.
Fouled back by Housewright. Hey, there's the lineup cards on the dugout. As you can see, that's a lot of ink when you're batting 14 on each side.
If you look at that card, what does the red mean?
Lefties?
Yes, exactly. You change it up so everybody knows. It's a lot of little lineup things that they do.
I was looking at the nice penmanship. There's a bounce to the second base.
Who wrote that? That's
Housewright retired. We get a little calligraphy going. 2 outs as Arant moves over to third base.
But as you see,
number 22, Ariel Torres.
They get a little bit of a lead and then become more aggressive. You know, that's what baseball is, an aggressive game. Get a little lead, you get comfortable, you can try to take advantage of opportunities there to be able to score more runs.
Ready for the sledgehammer for a second time. He had an opposite field double up off the fence in his previous at bat.
He did, and it surprised me. And that's another thing. Again, this is 11U. You got kids that are looking a little smaller than others or whatever, but he surprised me and shocked me. Hit opposite field off the wall. That's the great thing about having the best players at this age group and being able to watch them.
Just recently moved from Miami. Still stayed in the state of Florida. Really the first in his family to play sports So he has said his parents have had to learn baseball real quick. Now he's got a baby brother playing too. So I would say the Torres family, they are immersed right now in baseball.
Absolutely.
Hard hit to short. Speared by Maxwell to end what was a very busy inning. The East squad able to push across 5 runs for a 7-3 lead. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, a 5-run. Top of this frame has given this East squad a little bit of breathing room. Brett Dolan, Marlon Anderson. How about this play at the plate, Marlon? This great anticipation in the base running.
Absolutely. He got a great jump off of third base right there. Took off as soon as that ball was in the dirt. Actually went behind the hitter, and if the catcher would have got that ball and came back, I mean, as close as it was, everything he did was right as a base runner and was able to score that extra run for his team.
That was Trejo, our G-form play of the game. The most comfortable protective guards in all of baseball because the best never settle for less. G-form, go next level. We're going to get to see the Graham Slam on the mound.
Now for the West.
You're 11 years old and you got somebody
Aidan
that height
Cervantes.
standing on an elevated surface working downhill. Might be a little bit anxious in the box.
It's going to be interesting to see if they can kind of put together a couple runs here just to kind of get back into it and bring the momentum back on their side.
We saw Aidan Cervantes finish the top of this inning on the mound. Came on in relief. Now he bats. Got a single and scored in the second.
And the big man has a little funkiness to his windup as well. Kind of little elbows and knees going all over the place and then coming out with a nice little whip arm action.
I would say it's fair to say arms and legs are coming at you in the batter's box. And the longer the levers or the more you grow, Marlon, the more it becomes a little bit harder at times maybe to repeat your mechanics.
Absolutely. And I think that's where, you know, you build that and you grow with muscle mass and, you know, strength. You're able to control that on a more consistent basis. But the younger you are, you're a little bit, you know, like, again, you haven't grown into your body yet, so it makes it a little tougher as a young pitcher.
I think the toughest part sometimes when you're looking at younger players is to project the frame going forward. You don't have to do that here. This one skied in the air to center field, and that's going to be caught. I mean, that was a long run to get back and make the play from Derry.
Yeah, nice play. The biggest thing there, he drop step to his glove side there, and the sun is kind of coming that way. He's actually able to see the ball, get the ball, and then just kind of glide into it a little bit. Some guys will panic out there when they have to drop step like that and have to run to the ball. They'll panic a little bit. No panic in him at all.
Yeah, he was more confident than I was in him, but he had it the entire way. He had it measured. With that eye black and those glasses, he wasn't going to let the sun defeat him. Caleb Klein, the monster, had a single, scored a run back in the second inning.
And if there's any young players, you know, again, watching on that play, what you have to do is when you go out there to center field on a sunny day like that, you have to check and see where your son is, because you want to anticipate what's going to happen before it happens. If he doesn't check that sun, maybe he gets himself in a little trouble, not able to make that adjustment.
I'm happy the sun's out there today. The forecast maybe just a couple of days ago did not look great. We've not had any issues, just that normal humidity and steam that comes from hot Atlanta in the month of August.
I'd like to see the hitter take this next pitch. I know it's a 3-1 count, looks good or whatever, but after a big inning from another team, I think you want to try to make him throw as many pitches as possible, maybe try to get somebody on base and let somebody else get that big.
See, I'm swinging out of my mind.
And he did as well.
Ball race to right field. It's caught. How about the two plays we've seen in the outfield this inning? That's Carter Nash.
Now batting, number 27.
And we've got two Rawlings Gold Glove defensive plays of the game. Rawlings, the #1 glove of pro players. Rawlings, the official baseball glove of Major League Baseball. Nash, who led off the game with a homer. How did he get there to make that catch?
Nice play, nice anticipation, and being confident enough to be able to dive out there and make the catch and bring it in.
That one blistered to center by Quinn Neal. It's going to go to the fence, so Derry will chase. Does he have a chance to throw out Neal at second base? That's a double.
Nice swing there, nice swing. Didn't try to do too much. Again, team bend down a little bit, trying to make sure to get the base hit. That double to left center field, nice swing.
West team trailing by 4. They'd come out swinging, though, this inning.
They did. Nice swing, even on the 3-1 pitch before. It's nice swing. Again, not trying to do too much, trying to get the knock, but just a great play to not let that happen.
I think we found the key. It was the Sour Patch, right? I mean, that was showcased down there in the dugout. Bring a few of those up here. Lewis Lappy had a 2-run double back in the second inning. And Lappy's going to poke one to the right side. He is going to be retired. Didn't get a chance to tell you about one of his tournaments earlier this year. We will later. West team does not score. Remains a 4-run lead for the East.
Dodgers where he hit I think 2 home runs in one game as a pitcher.
Right.
One to right center field and one to left center field. Like one of the best hitting pitchers coming through during that time.
Nathan Hanley White is going to lead off this inning. Had an RBI ground out his only previous at bat. Young man who loves to wakeboard and wake surf.
Oh.
Florida native. In the air to left, and the play will be made. Talking about dealing with a little bit of sunshine up there.
Number 13,
Louis Lappy. He did it the old-fashioned way. No sunglasses, eye black. He used his hand.
Definitely. That looked a little bit better off the bat to me. I thought that had an opportunity to get back to the track.
You got a bit jumpy up here. I like it.
A little bit, yeah. I'm a little excited.
Here's Lucas Borges. Now, Lucas, I believe, attempts to be a switch hitter, although here he's batting right on right. He did earlier. He hit a liner to second in his only previous AB, and I was curious to see if maybe he might switch it. That one is stroked well to right field. It's going to go to the fence. Extra bases for Borges as he trots into second base, clapping his hands. Been a double fest today and a little bit of excitement for Lucas.
Absolutely. I think, you know, you're thinking about hitting opposite, like if you're working on your switch hitting, if you don't quite have it down yet.
This is probably not the format.
Yeah, but you know, righty, that's a great swing. No, ball's down and not over the plate. It was not up. It was actually down, played right into his hand. Was able to kind of drive it over the right fielder's head. Right fielder was shift a little bit far to the right side. I think kind of giving up. And that's one of the things as an outfielder, you know, not giving up too much space toward the line because most balls are hitting the gap. That's a Tony La Russa rule that I learned as playing for him.
Well, Borges got the double. Brings up Carter Nash, who's had the homer and the diving catch. I want to finish the thought, though, on Lucas should nothing happen here. He lives in Louisiana. He plays for a Dallas travel team. He said that's 6 hours of travel to get to Dallas. He said there was one tournament that finished at 11 o'clock at night, drove through the night, got back at 5. He slept for an hour, got up and went to school.
That's dedication to both sports and education.
Well, Carter Nash has seen what his teammate Pettinato has done. Pettinato, a couple of doubles, a couple of steals, 2 runs batted in. Nash has the homer and the diving play in right. So these guys may be competing for the most valuable player.
And don't think he doesn't know that now. Don't think, you know, as a player, you know, it is an all-star game, it's an elite game or whatever, you're playing against some of the best, but everybody wants to leave here with that MVP trophy.
So back to the top of the lineup, third time through for this East team, leading 7-3. That's going to be ball 4. The pitch was spiked, so that's going to be a free base for Borges. He thought about maybe trying to score from second.
Pitcher got
now batting number 2.
Pitcher got just a little bit lazy, didn't cover the plate at first, but he was able to get there to take advantage of it. And again, good secondary league at second base. The crossover is being taught these days. I would like to talk to their coaches and make sure that they stop doing that as a base runner. But other than that, he did have good anticipation.
Canondari hits one foul outside of first. We might have you go do a little base running clinic later on. Hey, there's Tom Flash Gordon.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. One of the greatest guys in baseball. I tell you what, he pitched for a long time and did a great job doing that.
Yeah, nearly 20 years for Flash. That one smoked into right field for a base hit by Canondari. He's going to plate another run for this East team. They lead it 8-3. Derry gets a hit and RBIs. Flash.
Now batting number 1, Trey Lawrence.
It's been fun to watch Canondari play here this afternoon.
There's some good swings that have been put on batters right now. And luckily, off-speed pitch that again stayed up and not over the plate, and they were playing double play depth in the middle, and you know was not able to get over to be able to make an attempt at that ball.
Brings up Trey Lawrence, who's lined to short and fly to center. He is a big Andrew Jones and Ronald Acuna fan for a South Carolina native. And when you say Andrew Jones now, I'm not sure if he's talking about getting on Google or whether he's watching Drew.
Well, big difference. Great pair to be to like either way, whether you like the young Andrew or the older Andrew.
There's some people just tuning around on this 11U Select Fest and saying, boy, these kids are young. You know, the funny part is, Marlon, the first game I ever broadcast at this famous East Cobb complex, it's been, I guess we could figure it out, 7 or 8 years ago. It was a 14U game, and there was a player by the name of Drew Jones who was playing in that contest, and I watched him and I thought, well, I know the bloodlines. There's a pick at third, and this should result in an out. A little bit of a rundown effort here. Will the tag be made? He got in there. Carter Nash somehow was able to get out of the pickle and make it safely to third base.
Absolutely. At this age, that works, and you sometimes get out of that pickle. In professional ball, it doesn't happen a whole lot, but the mistake here was made by Prime. He had the ball in his glove and not in his hand at the beginning, which put him in a position where he wasn't able to get rid of it quick enough.
I reach for that back tip of the plate. That ball is launched to right center, and it's gone. Trey Lawrence plays long ball. A 3-run shot. The East team pouring it on now, and that looked a little bit like a Drew Jones swing.
I tell you what, I'm just so impressed by the way these guys are swinging and able to stay through the ball and hit the ball the opposite way with power. That's something that usually comes later in life, but to be able to sit back and get a ball again that was kind of up a little bit, not a terrible pitch by the pitcher, but he knew right away that it was gone with his bat flip. But
how about the flip?
Yeah, he was very confident and knew that ball was getting out of the ballpark right away.
That might be more of a bat twirl, like a helicopter effort. That thing went up and it was airborne.
Yes, it was. Again, like I'm so just glad the guys are able to enjoy the game or whatever, and it has nothing about showing off the other person. It's really playing the game and enjoying it. For so much of my career, I wasn't able to have fun and kind of have that enthusiasm. It was always pretend like you've been there. This is a kid's game. At every level you play it, it's a kid's game. Even in the big leagues, it's a kid's game, and the things that you do because of the work that you're putting in and how hard you're playing and working, when you have something good happen, it's okay to enjoy it with your teammates.
Well, we've entered a new phase, haven't we, in baseball, Marlon, as far as the let the kids play. And, you know, we talk about getting as many different kids from as many different backgrounds playing the game that we love so much, and part of that is the exuberance and the excitement.
Absolutely. And again, like, we were literally bred not to show that. And it was always, well, you know, the game is humbling. It's humbling. Well, it's going to humble you whether you have fun playing it or not. The game is still going to humble you.
It'll find you.
It's definitely going to get you. So, but to be able to have fun like this and enjoy. And I really think it's about the kids knowing and understanding that it's not about them. This is about this guy hitting this home run and enjoying it with his teammates. He didn't look in the other dugout. He didn't look at the pitcher. He looked at his players and almost threw the bat on top of his own head. So
get away from myself. Get away from me.
Again, like, I love the fact that they watch it every night in highlights from major leaguers doing it, and it comes from somewhere. You know, some of the first people to do it. I remember playing with Jimmy Rollins when he first came up, and it was something that was harped on so much about him having so much fun on the baseball field or whatever. You know, and I'd gone through some of the same things before Jimmy got there, and one of the things that players like Doug Glanville and me and, you know, Ron Gant, is like, have fun, enjoy this game, do you, be who you are, and you play better when you're able to kind of have that exuberance and play and do what it is that you want to do as a player.
The Phillies team had some personalities, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Always. I mean,
some intensity as well with a guy like Utley around some of the others.
Yes, but again, it was still always the way that Jimmy expressed himself was not accepted at the time.
Understood.
He was one of the few that did it back then and didn't mind. And, you know, he was an all-star his first 2 years in the big leagues. He had fun playing the game, and you see that smile on his face all the time. It was never about somebody else. It was always about him picking his teammates up and being that guy who wanted to have fun on the baseball field.
Well, Brett Rager's on the pitch, the big daddy. He's going to face another big daddy here in Huffstetler. Rager out of Lincoln, California, has a brother, or has a father, I should say, Brad, who was a quarterback at Butte College. And if you're saying Butte College, Aaron Rodgers played at Butte College back in the day before he went to Cal.
That's a fun fact.
Good pitch, wave and a miss.
Couple all-speed pitches early and then brought the heat that time.
Rager had a game last year where he threw a no-hitter and struck out 15 in a Little League All-Star contest.
I would say that was not a bad day.
I'd say you would remember that, whether you're 11, 21, 51, it doesn't matter.
For a while, absolutely.
Huffstetler's been a tough out. He's walked twice. Big swing here, though. Will sit him down on strikes. The throw will go to first to complete the K, and that is the second out of the inning. At one point, the West squad had a 2-1 lead. It's been all East since.
The bats on the East have come out. I mean, they're hitting the ball hard. It's not like they're blooping in a whole lot of balls. They had one bloop, but for the most part, they're actually on the barrel pretty well and driving the ball in the gaps.
Hey, that's a good pitch. Outside corner, knee high to Tyson Brown. Big breaking ball drifts outside. Preston Wilson and Kyle Farnsworth, a manager, sharing a laugh of sorts. These guys love the game. I know you do too, Marlon, to be around kids that aren't your own, kind of share some of your expertise. It's something I think Perfect Game has done a great job of, not just in recent years, but for a long time, bringing in these big league alumni to be around these young kids.
Oh, absolutely. I think, you know, they've changed the game in a lot of ways, but, you know, having players around them and the technology that they're bringing in, you know, Perfect Game has changed the major leagues and changed minor league baseball because it put the pressure on the organizations to follow the same model that they have with TrackMan and all these things that they're coaching off of in ways that they're using the technology to benefit them. And you know, again, having major league players around any guy who wants to play baseball, it's just so inspirational to these young players. And you know, it's an honor to be able to do it and be around them.
No doubt about it. Brown down on strikes. The inning ends. It's an 11-3 lead for the East.
Home runs they hit. I hit probably 2 opposite field homes for my whole career in the big leagues. I pull the ball if I was going to have power.
That's good insight. Brown on the mound, and his first pitch is rolled in the left for a base hit by Cameron Hockett in his second at bat. He was awfully good on the mound, and now Hockett gets a single to add to his busy day here in the Select Festival.
Let's see if the West squad can kind of pick it up and
here we go.
Make a push. You know, we got a couple innings here to kind of take a chance and make a push. Let's see what they have and see what they can do.
This is Jimmy tipped in the third. Bounced to short his only time in. That one got him. So a couple of base runners quickly in the West 6th inning.
Now batting number 34, Cash Erickson.
Just kind of got away from him a little bit. Didn't close his front side. Kind of left his arm out there a little bit and got away from him and kind of just leaked inside right on the shoulder. Smart for the hitter to turn and get on that fat part of the body, though.
Protect the hands.
Absolutely.
It's Cash Erickson. Erickson, a young man who's had a couple of different sinus surgeries that were pretty significant. And for him to be out here playing at this level, certainly awfully exciting. See him back and fully healthy.
Well, this is where the younger kids, you see that the big bounce off of second base out there. For me, this is where the base runners on the West have to be really careful, not try to get outside themselves and make something happen. Like, let the hits come, let the pitcher get in trouble, and then take advantage of the mistakes instead of trying to make something happen and actually get in trouble.
It's the one thing I see on the travel ball circuit that probably drives me more crazy than anything else. Guys taking risks down big that they don't maybe understand the concept of the game.
And I think that's the tougher part to teach a kid like this, because they're used to playing the same thing the same way every single time. And I think as you get older, you get more advanced, you understand the severity of making a mistake in those big situations where you want to try to take advantage of their mistakes, not make mistakes when you're down big.
Erickson out of the Woodlands has a count of 3-1, and he plays for the Banditos. He's going to take ball 4. How about the year, though, for Cash Erickson? Here's how his Banditos team did. They won 88 games, they lost 13, and they tied 1. We're talking about more than 100 games.
Yeah, it's a long summer, number one. It's a lot of games at 11. But again, this is all about research. The research he was able to get at 11 with the 100-game schedule, you can't make that up in any other way. So.
Well, the Big Daddy's batting with the bases loaded. Rager doubled in the 3rd inning. We've also seen him on the mound, and now he bats with nobody out. Bases loaded, his team in need of a big inning. And Brown looking for his first. There's a chopper on the carpet and into center for a hit. And there's the wise decision to go station to station with nobody out. 4 straight have reached.
Well, in a game like this,
number 17, Brody Taylor.
The dribbler up the middle, but it's contact. It's contact, and it's, a field with a big hop, and, it's one of those situations. You come back on a team like this, just like they scored on you, 1 run at a time, getting little hits and taking advantage of the situation that the pitcher gives them here.
Brady Gillespie, the B-man. Line to short. It's only at bat.
That's what we're talking about earlier there. Not trying to do too much. That ball bounced off the back. If he's been a little over aggressive, he takes off right there. He's out at the plate, and you take yourself out of a big inning. And the third base coach was screaming, nowhere to go, nothing to do, whatever.
I want to tell you a little bit about Gillespie. He made a quick out in the 3rd inning as he bats with the bases loaded. He says the person who inspires him is his dad, Chet. And he went on to say something that I think every father would just one time love to hear their kid say when Brody adds, "I hope I can be as cool as my dad when I'm his age."
I read that same thing, and I thought the exact same thing that you just said. This, like, that would be nice to have your son be able to say that about you.
I mean, if you could say, listen, my son could come home and he could hit 2 homers in a game, or he could tell me he's got a 4.0 for the semester, or he could tell me I'm the coolest dad. You might go for the latter. Right now, Brown trying to pick up an out. Can they get 2? Flip to second. On to first, not in time. The second run of the inning will come across as Gillespie picks up an RBI.
Now batting number 8, Julian Trejo.
Seen 1 double play already, though. That was going to be a really tough turn, even on the carpet.
Absolutely. But again, if you're going to have a chance in the 7th inning, you had to get a couple runs this inning, put the pressure on them. Hopefully you can squeeze another couple across and really give yourself a chance in that last inning.
There's Trejo. He doubled back in the 4th inning. Scored on a great play at the plate on a wild pitch when he went in diving to the front corner.
And he has great speed, so you're not a guy who's probably going to double up. So if you get some contact here, even if it's on the ground, they're going to get another run across right here.
Tell you what, something to the gap, though, would make things awfully interesting. 7-inning game here. We're in the home half of the 6th inning. course, when you see some of the top arms early in the game for one inning, you get towards the end where you get maybe position players who are more position player than pitcher, but certainly pitch. Now, this is where the depth of this lineup becomes a great challenge for these pitchers. Absolutely, and they've been running around on the field for a little bit before they got a chance to pitch, which may tire them out a little bit. I mean, it's not hot down there or anything, is it today in Atlanta? A man who lived in Houston for a long time and decided you wanted a few more cool breezes, so you just came to Atlanta. Well, just humidity's not quite as high, the temperature's not quite as high, but I grew up in the South. I can definitely. You're used to it. High pop-up, not a lot of foul territory here at East Cobb. They got to cram these fields in. That'll be out of play. I don't know about you, when I come to this complex, it reminds me a little bit of Dodger Stadium with the different layers and the trees, and feels a little bit like the parking lot outside of Dodger Stadium. I love Dodger Stadium. There's so many things that's unique about that place, from the inside to the outside to the one-way in to the not a whole lot. It's just so unique in every aspect of it. Brown could use a strikeout. Another one fouled away in the field to our right. Perfect Game has done such an amazing job here at East Cobb. So much history, and you can go back and you can talk about all the guys who have played here and the Jason Haywards, and you could just keep right on going down the line. So many talented players, but whether it's the turf fields, whether it's just putting some extra investments into this facility. Absolutely. It's been fantastic. You know, just getting the technology that's all around with all the fields and everything that you have, you know, it's just a great place to play. Good for, you know, you're a kid at this age and you get to play at a complex like this. It just builds your confidence and it helps you to prepare for whatever's up next. Sometimes you can go to college and play, and your college field may not be as nice as you know, facility like this that you get a chance to play in. Big pitch here, the 3-2. I think Trejo hit that twice. I think he found it straight down off the carpet and then got it again on the backswing. He is concentrating right here. This is a big at bat for him. He knows if he can drive the ball out of the ballpark, he gives his team a chance here. 3-2 count. You don't want to get too early. You want to be patient, but you also want to be aggressive on that ball that's in the zone. To the backstop. Erickson will not try to score, and the bases are loaded again.
Antonio Gill.
I mean, that's not a base hit, but it feels like that's a great plate appearance for Trey. Absolutely. He took some great hacks, and also, for me, just really worked the count and made the pitcher have to earn everything he got there, and he ultimately walked for his team to be able to help him to move to the next guy. Antonio Gill was on the mound back in the 5th inning when the East squad scored 5 runs, and he kind of left the game shaking his head just a bit. Well, he's got a great chance to do a little bit of damage himself. He would love it right now to be that guy. Let's go, Gill! That's what I love so much about this game. Sometimes not necessarily mistakes, but things that happen early in the game, and you roll around, you got the last couple innings, and you still have an opportunity to be able to help your team win, especially at these lower levels like this, where everybody's hitting today, everybody's got a chance, everybody's got that opportunity to do what they need to do. See how daring he wants to be in a 2-0 pitch, and it was a good one from Brown for a strike. Nice pitch there. Tough pitch to hit on 2-0. I think it was a good job of taking the pitch. Two-on offering is into right for a base hit. Station to station again. Gill gets the single, the RBI. All of a sudden, here comes the West. It's 11-6. Again, didn't try to do too much. Let the ball get deep and got the barrel to it. That ball's hitting really hard down the first base line, and Big Poppy wasn't able to react quick enough to be able to get that ball. But again, you just help your team. You gave up some runs early in the game. You're feeling it. Bases loaded, opportunity. You push it back to the top of the lineup. Hit that ball so hard he was almost out of first base. Gill had to scramble at the end to get there. Kyle Farnsworth pays a mound visit before Prime Maxwell gets a chance to bat. Keep in mind, now we're getting to the middle of the lineup for this West team. They've already plated 3 runs this inning. to make it an 11-6 contest.
It's only one out. Big opportunity here.
Maybe a hydration break for Brown. I think Kyle Farnsworth brought him a little water.
It's warm out there, definitely.
He's going to take it with him. We're going to step aside, a pitching change break. West team.
Number 22, Amari Maxwell.
Here comes Maxwell. Now, Amari had a bunt base hit in the first and infield base hit in the fourth. Well, it's hard to get a 3-hit game when you bat 14 guys and you're facing great pitching. A chopper to second, and that ends up in center, and another run comes across.
Got a high hop off the turf that time. He kind of, and that's the one thing as a second baseman, if you watch him, he kind of crossed over, and when that ball bounced, he wasn't balanced enough to be able to move his hands and make an adjustment on it. If you see him, he's going to turn as that ball is coming. He's turning, and he tried to go at it with one arm, and then again the ball took a bounce. And you know, you want to get in front of anything you can. Was hit pretty hard, but tough play there, tough hop on him.
Hanley White couldn't make the play, so here comes Ruiz, and I mention this every time he's batted. He won the home run derby earlier today, but he's bounced into a double play, bounced out to third. However, a long ball here, and they will have come from 11-3 down to tie up the game.
He's got a 2-0 count right here. He's probably going to get a little, if I want anybody on the team to get a little over aggressive, this will be the count, this will be the guy, this will be the time.
14 home runs in the derby. Oh, Nash went down.
I think if you watch it, his legs stepped off of, his legs were kind of long, and maybe stepped off of that turf there as he was going down the mound.
That's a big stride then, isn't it? You're right.
Yeah, he kind of slipped, the toe slipped off the front of it, yeah.
He got to the edge. It's a generous strike, 3-0, but appreciated from Jeff Charamedia.
This is the time right here. This is the game changer. This is the pitch. All day we've been waiting on it.
So from 3-0 to 3-2, you wanted him to take a big hack.
That was the one. That was the one that I wanted him to take. If make a mistake or whatever, pull it way down the line or miss it, but take that opportunity with the guy with this kind of pop in his
See if you could take out a branch in one of those trees behind the fence in left center. And he'll wave and miss. How about Carter Nash falling behind 3-0, falling down at one point, then coming back and getting 3 straight strikes to Ruiz.
And again, if you start to see right here the shadows over home plate, it can make a little bit of a difference in seeing the ball out of the guy's hands. Just a little bit of a shadow that maybe Ruiz on that 3-1 pitch, maybe take that hack and maybe have an adjustment he can make.
With you though, that shadow or the shadows might cause some problems as Atkinson bats. He's lined out, bounced out. High hands there for Landon.
As a player, you gotta take in all the elements. You gotta take in everything as a player, and then things changed during the game. Early in the game, there was no shadow, no anything, and it wasn't a problem. But right now, it's definitely trying to see the balls maybe a little difficult. Oh, you got one.
Left to right, hit well, goodbye. Atkinson with the grand slam. He's fired up. Just a few moments ago, the West was down by 8, and now they've tied up the game.
That was a nice swing, aggressive. Ball was in the zone. It was up again, but he dropped the head on it, was on time, didn't try to do too much. Balance was great, and the ball just jumped off of his bat.
Little toe tap and a lift and a launch, elevate and a celebration, and I think he's fired up after sending one into the trees.
Got a lot of candidates for player of the game in this game from both sides. It's going to be a tough one to pick.
I want to tell you a little bit more about Atkinson. We talked about the person that inspires him was his little sister Cameron. When she was 2 until she was 5, diagnosed with leukemia, had to go through 3 years of chemotherapy, and certainly she provided a great inspiration for what is possible to just deal with such a horrible situation. But Landon with the grand slam, and all of a sudden now Cervantes is aboard at first base. Don't look now, Marlon, but the West team can take the lead.
This is what it is. When you have elite players on both sides playing, you know, we get a little bit deeper into the game. Guys get a little tired. Pitching is not the same. Guys are taking good swings on bats and taking advantage of what's given. That's what these kids are going to have to do throughout their career at every level that they play at. And again, at 11 years old, being able to get this experience like this in a situation like this, it's only going to make them better in whatever baseball situation they have going forward.
Agreed. Here's the man they call Monster. Poke to right, that's a base hit. Cervantes will turn and go to third. The throw goes to third base. And the go-ahead run now at third base after the single by Klein, his second hit of the game. What do we got there?
Tickle the pickle.
I'm glad you could offer up something. I like it. There's Quinn Neal, doubled in his last at bat. That ball kicks away. It's going to lead to a free base for Klein, but Cervantes wisely will hold at third base. You don't want to take the bat out of anybody's hand this inning.
Well, you don't, but with the game on the line now, you've tied it up now, so you can be a little bit more aggressive. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive and be prepared to take advantage of it. Now, you can't be flat-footed and try to do something you shouldn't, but you got to anticipate and be ready for a ball that jumps in the dirt somewhere. Again, when you're down, it's a different story. You don't want to put that out or whatever, but now that it's a tie game, you're trying to win the game. You score this run right here to go out there and get 3 outs. Game is over.
The West team was playing station to station earlier because they were down so big, and now everything is flipped this inning.
Good walking lead, anticipate the ball in the dirt a little bit.
Just does miss. Hard to see once it gets to the shadows. 8 runs home this inning for the West. Quinn Neal waiting. It's up and out.
And it's a situation too, if you watch the catcher getting a little bit routine behind the plate, catching and kind of tossing it back to the pitcher. Get a good runner on third base. He kind of get a little walking lead right here, still home to win the game.
Big vicious swing by Quinn Neal. It's been a long inning for the defense, and this is where maybe you start to concern yourself about a mistake being made because they've been out there on that carpet, the heat, for about 25 minutes. And that is a big swing and a miss to end a big inning for the West. They score 8. 4 scored on one mighty swing from Landon Atkinson. Here it is, the swing. The hat almost popped off his head. The celebration. We are tied at 11.
Yes, the score is 11-11 right now. Let's go.
Almost feels like we're at Wrigley Field.
23, Braden
Got
Miller.
the vegetation coming up over the fence. We've had a few balls land beyond the fence, including a grand slam last inning from Landon Atkinson. So Rager got the final couple of outs last inning in relief, couple of strikeouts. He's back out there again. That one is going to be fair. And down the line and right. This is going to be Braden Miller with a leadoff double as the East squad, after seeing their 8-run lead evaporate, looking for a little bit of mojo in the 7th.
It's nothing like having a guy step into the plate and getting a big double after a big inning before. Again, it's a tie game. We're not down on anything like that. You got to try to still drive the ball and get in scoring position for the big guys coming behind you.
There's Big Papi. So Bayston had a single and scored a run back in a 5-run 5th inning for the East. They also scored 4 runs in the 6th. All of a sudden their lead is gone. Hit foul and out of play to the right.
He got that aggressiveness back on the bases, trying to take advantage of him, not looking at him at second base. Nobody's holding him on at second base, and had a pretty good jump there from second.
Strike 3 call. Bayston not sure. He's down looking for the first outs.
Now batting, number 8.
Well, today's stat of the game is presented by New Balance. About 17 runs scored, a couple of homers, 7 extra base hits, and that 8-run bottom of the 6th inning. That's stats of the game. A lot of them, a lot of runs. Attempt at stealing third, very close, but Miller in there. He picked the good pitch to go on.
He did. It wasn't a great jump that time. Actually, the throw would have been down just a little bit late getting on that curveball, and a great throw by the catcher. But he had to go around the hitter, which made the throw be high instead of being able to be on time.
And Pettinato with a smash to short. Is he going to beat it at first base? He's safe and the run will score. So Pettinato, who had a couple of doubles and a couple of runs batted in, puts his team back in front. What a great effort out at shortstop by Julian Trejo. Watch him come up with his ball.
Great diving play.
Number
just to
7,
get a
Brody Taylor.
It was hit so hard that once it bounced away from him, made him panic a little bit, and he had to kind of get rid of it. Maybe a chance of maybe stepping up and throwing the chest high and maybe keeping that run, but again, the adrenaline got him there, and tried to make a great play in a big situation that he needed.
And this is Brody Taylor, so I'm giving Colton another base hit. So 3 hits, 3 runs batted in, and his team is in front 12-11.
That was a great play at shortstop there. If you look at the video, I mean, that ball was almost past him. He was able to get the glove kind of balanced. Yeah, absolutely.
In the air to center. Going to hit up the base of the fence. On his way to third is Pettinato. The throw will go home, which allows Taylor to advance to second base. Otherwise, he was going to have a single.
Yeah, once this ball hits the fence, they actually had he couldn't get out of the box so quick. They could have threw that ball to second base. Once he hit the cutoff man at shortstop, if you see the shortstop, he went over toward third base. That throw's he's got to line up for second base to make sure that throw comes in to keep the double play in order.
One out this inning, a run in the bank for the East team. Preston Wilson on his way back to the mound. Tell you what, both of these managers or head coaches, they're coaching for every ounce of their baseball lives right now, trying to get this game to the finish line.
Trying to get every ounce of everything out of every player that he has. It took one out so he can go down to left field and actually warm up. So if you need him, he's down here warming up, maybe being able to get a big out in the situation that he needs.
That was Trejo who just laid out at shortstop.
I guess then give him a little opportunity to throw a couple balls.
Gill giving him the fist bump and the pep talk. That looked like it hurt. Smacking him on the shoulder.
But when you see these plays out here that, sometimes they make a few mistakes on, that's something as they get older and they play more baseball and the situations happen. As a defender, you want to think about the situation before it happens. That's the only way really you can kind of make plays, is to kind of pre-think it, think it before it happens, and have an opportunity. And again, as they play more baseball, they get older, they get more advanced, they'll be able to do that on a more natural basis where they don't have to think about it so much.
All right, you got to bring the infield in a little bit here, don't you? Got to creep in the middle infielders?
I think it's one of the things.
Give up a second run?
Well, I think it's one of the things that, I think you should, at least a little bit, but the balls are being hit so hard, even on a routine ground ball, they may have a chance, but they got to come in a little bit here to give themselves an opportunity to get these outs.
Rager could really use a strike out of Arant. Drilled to center. Oh my goodness, that thing was caught. Tipton looked like he lost it in the sun, but he made the catch. It's going to be a sac fly.
Number 5.
That is an amazing catch because he did lose that ball in the sun a little bit, and he tried to shade his eyes and he went back, and it's just a stab up at the last minute and made the play.
Baby J saying that ball caught me. I didn't catch it. Second run of the inning comes across. Now 2 outs, and this is house right. Chopper towards second, big bounce off the carpet, and the inning will end. But the East team, after giving up an 8-run 6th inning, scores a pair. One last chance for the West in the 11U Perfect Game Select Festival from Marietta, Georgia. The runs and bounce to second base. Here's a young man from California, likes playing in Georgia. In fact, earlier this year in the Georgia World Series, in 9 games, he hit 6 home runs and had 20 runs batted in. And it's also the same kid in the PG Super Regional NIT in Houston, had 2 homers in the same inning. But right now, he needs to get on base.
Exactly, changes the mindset. That's a pretty good tournament. Just look at those numbers.
Year, isn't it? And smoked foul outside of third base. Said he's not afraid to swing the bat in the first pitch, and I think we have seen some aggressiveness today. Right now, though, Nash trying to get this game to the finish line. He gave up the grand slam to Atkinson. He also has a chance to be the winning pitcher, and he gets Lappy to rip and miss. Lappy's a big Freddie Freeman fan, even though he's a right-handed hitter. That's a swing and a miss, but the ball goes to the backstop. The throw will have to go to first to Big Papi. And the strikeout completed 2-3, and that's a big first out in the bottom of the 7th inning.
That seems like a routine play. If you watch the catcher, Big Papi steps to the outside of the baseline, which is the right thing to do. And again, you can tell these guys play a lot of baseball. They've been around a little bit. He did that naturally. He went outside, made an easy path for the catcher to be able to throw in the ball and didn't have to throw across the runner, which gets the easy out for him.
Well, that certainly helped. This is Hockett. Bouncer to second. Play will be made. 2 outs. West down to its final out. This started off as kind of a pitcher's duel, a lower scoring game. It's turned into a wild contest, but we find ourselves right back to what has been an entertaining back and forth.
Absolutely. I think, again, the competitiveness of everybody on the field today, for me, is what I'm so impressed about. You know, guys are having fun, but they're competing and having a good day of competition.
Jimmy Tipton made that catch in center last inning, or the ball caught him regardless. It was a big play. Vicious swing and a miss. Last chance for the West. Fouled back over our heads, and now the West team down to its final striker out in the 7th inning.
This is big here. He's got to shorten up a little bit, try to make sure he makes contact, give himself an opportunity.
Ooh. Off the dome. And the tying run will come to the plate. If you're Nash, you didn't want to do that. And you can see a little bit of frustration after he hit Tipton on an 0-2 pitch, hitting between the P and the G on that helmet.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with that not being the tying run, would have loved to see him throw another fastball and try to challenge him there and try to get the out and at least make him earn getting on base there in the last inning.
Here's Cash Erickson. Good pitch for strike 1.
But as we know, this game is going to come down to who can execute here in this last inning.
Third time to the plate for Erickson. A little bit outside.
And this is tough. I'll tell you, again, there's so many elite players on the field, and you get to a situation like this, nobody's going to give you anything, but as you get another guy on base and you know you can give up the game in one pitch, it can play a little bit on you mentally. And this is a huge at-bat right here. Yeah, you can tie it up right here. That next guy gets on. I think everybody, the nerves of everybody on the field just goes to a different level.
Once again, the West team down to its final striker out in the 7th. Nash trying to win this game. Blistered foul and out of play. We're going to be following these young men for years to come. Part of their baseball journey that didn't necessarily begin here today, but it did expose this group to a nationally televised audience. Another one fouled back onto the nearby field.
This is the battle. This is what it's all about. You know, fortunate enough to play for a while, but toward the end of my career, 9th inning game on the line situations, had a lot of those at bats like that, and this is where it's fun.
pitch, strike 3 called. And the East squad holds on for a 13-11 win, and they take the 11U Perfect Game Select Festival, and the celebration turns into a dog pile. Don't hurt anybody.
Great game by the guys. The competitive fight, I think, all of them fought all day to go down by 8 and come back and give up the lead, and then come back the next inning and take the lead again for your team, and to be able to hold them off. The same guy that gave up the grand slam was able to close it out here in the last inning, and I think that says a lot about these kids. It's so much education and so much growth and so much research that they're getting out of situations like this that I love to see for young kids like this.
Fun game. Hardware
Absolutely.
making its way out to the field, and that's going to do it today from Marietta, Georgia, and the East Cobb Complex. So for Marlon Anderson and our entire crew, I'm Brett Dolan. This has been a presentation of the CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. What a day. The East takes down the West 13-11. The 11U PG Select Festival. Thanks for tuning in.